Since I've had this console for about a month now, I think it's time it deserves a review. This is the Nintendo Switch. So really the most important aspect of this console, and indeed the most important factor in driving its market success, has been its nature as a hybrid console. It is simultaneously the most portable TV connectable console available and the most powerful handheld console on the market as well. And this portability really is seamless. It completely blew my mind the first time I was able to take the console directly out of its dock and just continue to play it. It's also an excellent size for both being portable and satisfying that kind of graphics urge that other handheld consoles haven't really ever properly been able to do for me in the past. The battery life has also so far not really been a problem for me either. The second most obvious feature to mention is obviously the flexible controls and the ease of access of the console. I'll talk a little bit about multiplayer later, but suffice it to say that the console is geared very heavily towards the idea of local multiplayer. It is the logical extension of Nintendo's party game formulas for sure. The perfect console for games like Mario Kart, Mario Party and Splatoon. As a result, it's a great format for playing a lot of indie multiplayer games like Ultimate Chicken Horse, which me and my friends have had a total blast with. The controllers can feel quite small at first, but you do get used to them after a while, and the little black extenders on the top do make them feel a lot more ergonomic. Now they are expensive, but this is definitely a good marketing strategy on Nintendo's side, and I don't really grudge them it. They are probably making more money off the accessories than maybe even the consoles and the games at this point, so I think that I can't get angry at them for charging a lot for the accessories. I can't really comment on all the Labo? All the Labo stuff, because I don't really think that's geared at my age group, but then, you know, I didn't really have high hopes for the Switch either, so, you know, maybe that's cool too, you never know. In terms of graphical fidelity, I have no complaints about either the graphics on the small screen or the big screen when it's connected to a television. Some games can be a little trickier to play with friends on the small screen, especially when you're either cooperating or playing against each other on a split screen. So if you're trying to play Smash Brothers with your friends on some larger maps on a train, for example, or you take the Switch to work and you want to play Mario Kart, it can get a little bit too small. But this hasn't really caused me any real issues personally so far. This might be due to Nintendo's kind of more cartoony graphical style and a lot of the more kind of bright, colourful games available for the Switch. But really I haven't noticed any major difference personally between like the PS4 graphics and Nintendo Switch graphics. I've not noticed anything that's given me cause for concern or has taken me out of the experience at all at any point. I know there are big differences between the two consoles and their graphical power, but when you don't really notice this, I mean, who cares really? Now, this aspect might explain my aversion to the Switch when it was first released. I was wary of gimmicky Nintendo consoles for some time, having been severely let down by the Wii and particularly the Wii U. In my opinion, these consoles relied too heavily on their specific features and not enough on a kind of wide selection of good gaming titles to play or gameplay. The amount of paraphernalia you needed to enjoy a Wii or a Wii U to its full capacity at some points became really ridiculous. In comparison, the Switch has definitely impressed me in the sense that it's gone in a more slimline direction, with all the components being incredibly light, and really a lot of the gadgets are more just for preference or for fun rather than being necessary to enjoy the machine. Transporting the Switch to my friend's house has been incredibly easy compared to, say, moving a Wii U over to your friend's house, and considering it's a party-based console, as are a lot of Nintendo's games, that really seems like a good direction to be going in for Nintendo. Now, back to the original point of games, the Nintendo Switch seems to be going in a very good direction with this, with Nintendo releasing many unique games for this console, as well as porting many previous classics from the Wii U over to it, and also allowing for a lot of indie titles to have their games put in. I mentioned Ultimate Chicken Horse already. I think games like Shovel Knight are also finding a home on the Switch and selling a lot more on there as well, simply due to the Switch's portability. And these kind of games, I think, really have a good crossover market with the Switch. Whilst obviously the list isn't as extensive as, for example, the PS4, I think that they are growing the list of titles very quickly, and a lot of games coming out soon. I'm actually more excited about the Switch's list of games coming out soon than I am about the PS4's list of games. And I think the multiplayer component that's inherent in a lot of Switch games really makes for an extra bit of replay value. Like, I'm practicing Smash Brothers and Mario Kart way more for the knowledge that my friends will be playing it with me at some point, so I want to get really good at it. I certainly haven't had the same issue that I had when I bought my 3DS, and a month later I'd basically played all the decent games for it. So if you think about going for a 3DS, just plump for the Switch, I would. Now, the multitude of draws must really be helping this console in its development, despite it being, you know, relatively young compared to some of the others. And the recent release of Smash Ultimate must, I think, it really accelerate the sales even more for the Switch, despite being already the best and fastest selling Nintendo console of all time, and a massive comeback for Nintendo in terms of market share and market value. Now, even though I've only had it for a month, the Nintendo Switch has really revolutionized the way that I'm playing games, and as a 20+ year gamer, this is really not an easy task. Rather than make the mistake of its predecessors and try to add new aspects to console gameplay which might seem gimmicky and take away from what really matters, that is to say the gameplay, Nintendo have gone in the direction of really trying to revitalize a nearly dead aspect of video games that many gamers my age have missed dramatically, and that is party play and couch multiplayer. My biggest words of praise for this console are aimed squarely at its portability, multiplayer aspects, and ease of access for people who aren't necessarily great at video games. Now, whilst for a long time I have been trying to make couch multiplayer viable for my PS4, and to some degree it is, it's a lot harder if you don't necessarily have a lot of hardcore gamer friends who are willing to play all these time sync games and to come around your house to play like long periods on the PS4, or for you to lug the PS4 over to their house to play it for long periods. The Switch just makes this a heck of a lot easier, and with all these classic multiplayer titles like Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, Splatoon, all these titles are really cohesive to that kind of multiplayer environment. I want to send a big thank you to Nintendo for adding this kind of spontaneous aspect to console gaming, which I haven't really had since my childhood. So I carry my Switch all over the place now, and if me and my friends want to play some games, we just do. There's no barrier to just being able to pull out the Switch and play at any time if there's a TV present, or even if there isn't. I really hope Nintendo continue in this direction in the future. Now, in terms of cons, first one for me, I'm aware that this is a very late review and the Switch has been out for ages, but I feel like the window after Smash Ultimate was released is a really good time to re-review the Switch, so to speak, as there are all these new people buying it now. In terms of cons for the console itself, the tiny controllers do take some time to get used to, and for some people they are really tricky, and extra additions like new Joy-Cons for 4-player aren't essential, but they do make it a lot more fun when you have those. Also, in terms of competitive gamers, you will want to get a GameCube controller, because the Joy-Cons, even when connected together or on the either side of the console, they work for me, but for a competitive player I really can see why they would not. And whilst they are somewhat expensive, they are way more ethical ways of making money than pretty much the entire rest of the gaming industry is right now. Like and subscribe if you like this video, guys. I've got some more gaming videos to come, and hopefully some more on different things as well. The esoteric, mysterious goals that I mentioned in some of my previous videos are well on the way to getting completed, so once I get started with that, hopefully we'll have some more varied content on this YouTube channel, and maybe some weirder stuff. So yeah, have a good day, guys. See you later.